People waiting here for us.
We got-
Arkansas Prepper.
Yeah, Arkansas Prepper, Homestead Nana, and Homestead Nana says waiting for their blizzard to start, getting up to 12 to 24 inches
Wow.
in Massachusetts.
Hope you're hunkered down, ready to go. Stay warm.
Oh my goodness.
Grammy is here. Says it's cold in North Carolina, but I bet it's not as cold as it is where Homestead Nana is. And Iris Lady is, where in Berkshires. That's what I would think. That's where it always snowed a lot. But I remember a few times. I mean, I grew up in Connecticut. There's a few times that I remember school being canceled several days in a row, and like, because it was like a foot or more of snow, like just playing in the snow drifts and making like igloos. You ever do that where you dig an igloo out of a snow drift?
We never really got that much snow here.
Yeah, where they'd all pile it up on the corner of the driveway and then you dig in there and make an igloo. That was always fun.
That sounds like fun.
It was fun as a kid.
The girls would love that.
Yeah, we don't get that much snow here. So, so today we're going to talk about, it's finally planting season. So I'm going to show you some things that are going in the ground now, maybe give you some ideas for your garden. I'd love to hear, too, if you have any ideas. And Sam can give you an update on school and maybe share some funny stories from the week. I made welcome, Beth. Thanks for joining us from Illinois. I made kind of a boo-boo this morning.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you were the one who got on to me about it. So Annie had she had an orthopedic appointment this morning, and you schedule those like 6 months in advance. And I scheduled it for a Monday morning because Mondays are usually the day that Sam has had off in nursing school. So I figured that was safe, but I didn't realize that it was like 7:30 on the Monday morning after daylight savings time. So we both felt like we got hit by a truck driving 2 hours into St. Louis for like a 7:30 appointment. Sam was like, "Why did you do this? Couldn't you have done it the next week?" But back when I scheduled that appointment, I didn't think about it being the day after daylight savings time. It was a Monday, so I took it.
Hello, Kelly in Alabama, and Tara is here.
Welcome.
Hello. Let's see. Diane, hello from New York.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
So I have this week off from school. We get 1 week off. Then my next term starts. It's another 8-week session.
But we're thinking this one's going to be a little bit easier.
This one will definitely be easier. It's not nearly intense. I do still have a clinical I have to go to. So it's Med-Surg 2. But I felt like I handled Med-Surg 1 okay. And then I have a leadership class, but it's mostly online. We only have to meet a couple of times for that. So it's just going to be a ton of writing and projects. But I like that because...
saves you like 3 hours of drive time.
Yes, it saves me 3 hours of drive time a day. And not to mention sitting in class. But a lot of it I can do on my own time. So that's very, very nice. Like you can start working on the projects immediately if you want because you get the whole syllabus. They have, usually in those classes, we have discussion posts. That's kind of the most intense part because they're due like daily and then you have to reply.
So you have to wait on other people to do their work.
Yeah, to reply. But I like those kinds of classes. They work a lot better with our family schedule, I feel like. I'm just a slow writer. That's the only troubling part. But this next term should be not nearly as intense as the last one. And then I get a month off, and then we go into practicum. And I'll let you guys know whenever I figure out where they're sticking me.
So what did you wrote down your top 3, though. What were your top 3?
I did, actually. I had a really hard time trying to decide. I bounced all over the place there for a while. Every other week I had a different spot that thought I wanted to go to. Here, we missed a whole bunch. Empty Nester, hello. Welcome. And Bonnie from the Foothills of Kansas. The high of 25 today in Iowa.
It's been snowing on and off here today.
It's just basically been 30 degrees all day. But it's windy, so it's made it kind of chilly. It's kind of funny because they give you this sheet and they say, we want you to be as detailed as possible, telling us where you want to go, what you want to do, and kind of what would work best for your plan for practicum. And every time they say that, and they end the sentence with, but we're pretty much gonna stick you where we can fit you. So it just depends. So I ended up putting.
Sorry, my camera is really dirty. 1 second, folks. I don't know if that made it better.
I ended up putting. I put NICU, PICU, and labor and delivery were my 3 places, and then just various hospitals. Some that were close, and then just like the hospital that I'm already been doing my clinicals at, because I figure I'd be pretty familiar with that. I don't think I'm gonna get one of the hospitals close by. I've been in contact with the clinical director. She's just not had good communication with those hospitals, so I don't think it's gonna happen. So I'm probably gonna have to drive. But we've been driving for the whole program to all these places, so it's just another 10 weeks. And then hopefully I can get a job at least a little bit closer. Yeah. We'll see. But I'm excited. It's really, they told us for students in the accelerated program, this is the term, because it's our last actual like class term. After this, it's practicum, and we do have an NCLEX review course, but it's mostly online. But they said everybody gets senioritis this term. People just don't care as much anymore. So I'm gonna do my best to make sure that does not happen.
Sam cares all the way through.
I do. Make sure that does not happen to me. I want to make sure we finish strong with Med Surg 2 and a leadership class. I'm actually kind of looking forward to the leadership class. They said, I asked what some of the big projects were, and one of them was to build out a resume. I'm like, okay, I think I can do that. That does not sound difficult. We've done that for 20 years already. And then the other one was you have to act like you're the charge nurse on a holiday weekend and plan everybody's schedules. That actually sounds kind of fun. Since I don't have to deal with actual people's attitudes and getting anybody mad at me, that just kind of, I don't know, the way my brain works, that sounds like fun. So I think that class will be okay.
You'll do fine. A
lot of that, I feel like, I don't know, but I would assume a lot of those leadership type questions and things we'll have to work on. There are a few tests. It's all going to be, I would assume, like ethical and HR kind of decisions. So I think I'll be okay. That actually sounds kind of fun.
Yeah. Oh, and JMB is here. Welcome. And Lois, welcome. Thanks for joining us. And Camp Momo, welcome. Thanks for joining us. I was going to say, too, if you're watching this as a replay later, let me know. I think I have fixed it so that you can see the live chat on the replay.
Oh, yeah.
I had to kind of fish through settings, but I think I figured out how to do that. So let me know if you can actually see it, because I know some of you had asked for that, and I was struggling to figure out where to find that. So
sometimes you got to dig really deep into YouTube to find what,
and
what
they always change and update things, and so you really have to stay on top of it, and it's hard to find time to stay on top of relearning things and checking your settings all the time. There's a lot of boxes to click on YouTube.
I'm gonna go find the restroom.
So
hopefully
poor Sammy here has needed to use the bathroom for like an hour. But the girls have been taking showers tonight, and he can't seem to sneak in between people. So we'll see him in a minute. So anyway, I was planning on planting the first raised bed today. It's going to be my early spring, and it's going to be like a salad mix garden is my plan. And then it was kind of snowing and really cold. And while you can plant these things when it's really cold and snowing, it's fine. I did not feel like standing out there and being really cold and snowed on. So I'm going to do it tomorrow, but I'm going to show you what I got. And you can tell me if you have any suggestions too. So I found that the best place for us to get like seed potatoes and onion bulbs is actually our local grocery store. I don't know if that's a universal thing, but our local market, they always have starter plants and seeds and things, and they're always like locally sourced. They're really good. And so that's pretty much where I always buy these things. I don't really order these from like Burpee. I find it, or no, the seed catalog. I find that like the live onion plants or the onion bulbs or the seed potatoes, things like that those are really expensive to order out of the catalogs and have shipped to you, because I guess, being live plants, they're kind of crunched on time, and you need larger boxes for things because it's not a tiny seed packet. So I found that buying these things like locally at the store save me money and I get really good quality. So I bought onions, and I'm going to do 3 types this year. I have your standard white onion, your standard yellow Vidalia onion, and your red onion, which I don't know why they call red onions because they look pretty purple to me, but I don't name things, I just plant them. And from my experience, what I have more of these yellow onions than I do the other 2 types, and I've just found from experience that the yellow onions last the longest. So after I harvest my onions midsummer when they're ready to go, I braid the tops of them and I hang them on these hooks. So right on this other side of me are hooks where we like hang coats and stuff. What you need, Mikey? You can grab the charger, that's fine. I hang them on like hooks and stuff just over where all our coats are, and they just hang there all winter until they're used up. And I find that the white onions go bad the fastest. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe they need a special way to be hardened off. But I find that if I don't use these within the first like 2 months, they just get soft and gross. And then next, within like the first 3 months or so, the red, purpley onions start to go bad. But that these yellow onions, when they're pulled off, braided and hardened off, they last me clear till like March of next year. And I don't know what the difference is. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, and you could tell me that these other onions need they need some special babying to last a really long time. But in my experience, these are like your long haul onions as far as keeping them long-term food storage without needing to do anything with them. So I'm going to grow about 50% of my onions are going to be these yellow onions, and then it's 25 of the purpley red onions and 25% of the white onions. And I'm going to plant those this year in the raised beds that we just grew. And my idea is that hopefully that'll help with the weeding and things of keeping the onions, just making things easier in general.
You say hi to Pete?
Yeah, Pete, we're glad that you found us again. Every once in a while, YouTube, like, I don't know, they just pick random subs, I feel like, and they dump them off our list, and then people have to come find us again. I don't know why that happens or what we can do to prevent that, but I'm glad that you were able to figure out that we weren't showing up anymore and kind of resubscribe.
I used to think it would do it to
people who hadn't watched in a long time.
Yeah, subscribers that were inactive, like people that hadn't touched your channel in like 5 or 6 years. That's not true with Pete. Like, you know, he was jumping in live streams and stuff, so I don't know. YouTube's weird sometimes.
An empty nester, does anyone know if you can grow regular potatoes from the grocery store with sprouts, of course? Please let me know. Thanks, friends. So this is a great question. And the answer is yes and no. I've done it and it's worked, and I've also done it and it hasn't worked. One of the problems is that they spray them with like the anti-sprouting thing, so you're less likely to have your potatoes sprout when it's still in a healthy state. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, it's going to be, like, pretty darn rotten by the time it sprouts. But sometimes it doesn't work and they sprout and you plant them. And so it is absolutely possible. I would just make sure your potato looks relatively healthy. And I usually make sure that I plant one that has at least 2 sprouted eyes. If it's a store-bought potato, I feel like it increases your chance of it actually growing into a plant. But last year I did it. Grew some... what is it, a russet potato, just your regular old potato that you buy at the store, and it did fine. So I would say, like, give it a try, but realize that your, it wouldn't be germination because it's not a seed, so I can't think of the right word, but you're going to lose more of them than had you bought actual seed potatoes, so...
JB says, please hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel. Yes.
Thank you.
Hello, Lori from Michigan.
Welcome. And Pete says, normally this time of year would be hard for me to catch the Monday night live stream because we'd be sugaring, but it has been super cold lately after a very warm winter. Yeah, we were just talking about all the snow some people are getting up in the Northeast. So,
Lori says, I've grown potatoes from the store and it went great.
Awesome.
Arkansas Prepper says, I watch your Facebook notifications. YouTube sometimes is 30 minutes late on my notifications.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, I'm subscribed to the YouTube channel,
like
with another channel, and there'll be some times where it'll be a week. Like, I'll get notified from a video or the live stream like a week later. It's sometimes I don't know if that's an app problem or what, but sometimes it's finicky.
Pete says your home state, Connecticut, is going to get like 2 feet. Yeah, that's what we were just talking about before you got here. And I was telling Sam that I remember as a little kid, that when they would plow the streets and push it up against the curb in front of the house, my sister and I would go out and we'd dig like igloos out of the snow drifts, because there's sometimes we get so much snow they'd be like 3-4 feet tall, and when you're a 6-year-old kid that's like huge, and we would like build tunnels and stuff through these snow drifts. And we were actually, I remember being really little, like kindergarten, and we had this like safety person come to school. I don't know who he was, I don't remember, but I remember him teaching us, if you do something like that and the snowdrift collapses in on you, like how to get out, like, because you can actually bury yourself more. It's kind of like being in an avalanche. I remember that too. That's how I grew up.
Hello, let's see, Tammy from Pennsylvania. Diane says they've got a nor'easter
yeah,
hitting tonight here in New York. Pete says we might get a foot. Wow. And Lori says, I did that as a kid in the 70s.
Yeah, that's a fun thing. So along with those onions in the raised bed, I'm going to do a salad mix. And one thing, this is probably a stupid question that somebody can answer for me. When I look at some people's like raised bed or gardens, just like pictures and YouTube channels, everything is very compactly planted, and it's all mixed. Does that make sense? Like they've got their onions and their radishes and their spinach, and it's just like a mob in their raised bed. So do you just like take your seeds and go like woof woof to get something like that, and just let grow what grows? Because that's kind of what I'm thinking of. Or is it like carefully planned?
I would assume that it's still carefully planned. I mean, some people probably just chuck it in there.
Because I'm thinking about going with the chuck it method and seeing what happens with like the different salad mix, and just let the lettuces grow wherever they want.
I could see that.
No?
But I think like if you were going to plant potatoes and onions in the same place,
I was thinking like you would do the salad mix stuff in the center, and then I was going to plant the potatoes like around the edge of the bed maybe, and just let the lettuce grow up in the middle. Not the potatoes, the onions.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that.
So we are
I think that would work.
Let's see, Iris Sleety says close to the shore is rain right now, snow possible but a couple of inches. Yeah, the ocean always kind of ruins the snow forecast for southern Connecticut. Remember that as a kid too. Karen says we're getting some snow tonight in Massachusetts. And Laura says, I think it's square foot gardening and companion plantings. Maybe it is carefully planned. So maybe
That still sounds planned, though. Like you're not literally just opening the packets and throwing them. Stuff.
Yeah.
Jepco is here. Hello, thanks for joining us.
And then also tomorrow, so not in the raised bed, but in tires, because I found that that's the way I enjoy doing it. I'm going to plant some potatoes. And our local store had these, and I thought it was a really pretty good deal. It was $4 for a 5-pound bag of seed potatoes, and these are Kennebec seed potatoes, which I actually don't know anything about, but I was like, well, I'm already here, so I grabbed them, and so we'll give these a try. Last year I grew russet potatoes from the store, which did fine, and then I also bought Yukon Gold seed potatoes from like Burpee, and they were kind of expensive, and they kind of went meh, meh, meh. They didn't do very well. And so I decided I was just gonna, if I was gonna grow potatoes, I wasn't gonna spend a lot of money on seed potatoes. So I found this, and this is quite a few potatoes. So with these, because they're actually whole potatoes with sprouted eyes, I will cut these, make sure there's 2 eyes in each section, and probably plant. Last year I did 2 to a tire, 2 pieces to a tire. I think I could do a more compact planting. I think I'm gonna do 3 this year. And we'll see how that goes.
Give it a shot.
Give it a shot.
We got some pretty big tires.
Yeah, we got some tractor tires out there from a friend, so I'm going to do that tomorrow.
Pete says the main raised bed method I'm familiar with is the square foot garden method. Are you familiar with that? Mel Bartholomew is the author of that book.
Yes, and I have done square foot gardening before, but not in a raised bed. I did it in the ground. And it
was
worked.
Like one of the first things
it was one of the first things I tried, because we were living in town, and I remember
we had a
tiny yard, and we only had this little hand tiller. I remember taking Micah and Ivy outside, and Ivy was only like 9 months old, and they were just rolling around in the backyard with the hand tiller.
Like a 5 foot by 8 foot section, right?
And so I did a square foot garden in that little bed, and it worked okay, but I felt like it was hard to get in there and work, especially in the center of the bed, because everything was so tightly compacted. But these raised beds are not as wide, and so I should be able to clearly reach over the other side, no matter like where I am. Does that make sense? Like I think we made them that 5 feet across meant it was 2.5 feet to the center. And so those poor plants in the center, like you couldn't get to them unless you stepped on stuff.
Arkansas Prepper says, I like to grow new potatoes and can them whole. About golf ball size, great for stews.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Good.
Yeah.
Your stew's so good. Mrs. Peachy says, yay, I found you live. We're in for more rain here in Northern California. Keep him a smile on. Yeah. Sometimes that's tough.
And then Pete says he used to watch his show on PBS.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay. I don't remember.
I kind of want to look that show up.
Yeah, I have to look it up. Maybe I'll try square foot gardening. I don't know. I change my mind. I change my mind a lot until I get out there and plant, and I'm like, all right, this is what my mind's set on today, so this is what we'll do.
I think in raised beds it would work really well.
I agree.
Because it would be super easy to manage. When it's in the ground or you try to do something large, stuff's planted so close together, it's hard. I feel like it's harder to manage.
Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Okay, and then, so I've been having a hard time deciding what to put in the second raised bed. My friend Adrian recommended strawberries, which I was thinking about.
Ooh.
But I have this desire, and I don't have a good reason, but to successfully grow cabbage one year. I have failed 4 years in a row, and it's always because of the worms, the bugs that get on them. And so I was thinking I would do cabbage in the other raised bed, but I would build, like, I'd cut some hula hoops in half and then throw netting over that so that it would still get sunlight and rain, but the bugs couldn't get in, and then maybe I could successfully grow a cabbage.
What kind of net? Like, it would have to be really dense netting to keep bugs out, wouldn't it?
It's like muslin or something like that.
Oh, I see.
Maybe you roll it back when it rains. I have to look more on it, but I've heard that can keep the bugs off your plants or help considerably. Because I just couldn't, like, even squash bugs, I can stay on top of them and, clear until July, and then I just let them take over at that point. But I cannot stay on top of the cabbage worms. It's like you can't see them until it's too late, and then you're like, oh, well, now it's just all gone.
Arkansas Prepper says we should do peanuts.
Peanuts?
Do they need a warmer climate? I don't know what the growing, season and stuff is for peanuts. I don't know very many people in Missouri that grow
peanuts
that I've ever met.
I'm sure there are. This is not a raised bed thing, but I got from a friend. They gave me some cotton, and it was cotton seed. And I was going to plant that because I thought, oh, that was so cool. The girls would think that was so neat to see how cotton grows. But apparently it's illegal to grow private cotton in Missouri because of the boll weevil. I mean, if we didn't advertise that we had done it and I grew them in 5-gallon buckets in the backyard, nobody would really know. But I found that really interesting. Yeah. Because I thought, oh, what a neat experience. We'll have a little cotton patch and the girls can see how it grows. But apparently you can't do that in Missouri. So.
Yeah, Pete says cabbage worms are the worst. Mm-hmm. I try to manage them with diatomaceous earth. I don't know if we still have any of that.
The question is, did you feel like it helped Pete, or did they just laugh at you and continue to eat your cabbage? Mm-hmm. Julie says we planted some of those potatoes last year. Got about 6 potatoes per plant. They were big potatoes. So I haven't even tried these. Are the Kennebec potatoes, are they like a sturdy potato? Like if you wanted to can them, or are they more like the Yukon Gold where you can't really can them because they're like a softer potato that falls apart, but really good for mashing and stuff. I don't even know. They were on sale and they were there, and I was like, let's try this year. Okay, so Pete says the diatomaceous earth helped, but didn't get rid of them completely, which is super frustrating, and we understand. It's so frustrating to pour your heart and soul into something, and it's looking so good, and then the next day you go out and you're like, what happened?
That's I feel like that's just kind of the thing with homesteading in general, whether it's plants or animals or projects, sometimes that happens.
So so people who grow cabbage, if I did some cabbage in a raised bed, what would be something else to grow in that bed too? It has to be something short if I want to be able to put a hoop over it. So I can't grow the onions in there because they'll get too tall. But maybe carrots, maybe? I don't know. What do you like to plant with your cabbage? Give me some ideas. Because I've always done row gardening. So it's always just in a row and they go down the row and then something in the next row. I've never done a lot of companion planting. So this is a new one for me.
Pete says they grow Kennebec. And they love them. Broccoli?
That's true. I've tried broccoli before, and it sort of worked. It bolted really fast. But I definitely learned from that process. Do some broccoli. We all like broccoli. That's
Suzanne. I said Susan. Suzanne.
That's one vegetable that everybody eats.
Yes. We had broccoli tonight.
We did have broccoli tonight.
Laura makes, it's one of my favorite meals. It's a fettuccine Alfredo, where she puts chicken and a little bit of bacon and broccoli in it. And it is, it's one of my favorite meals. I could eat plate upon plate.
He was disappointed tonight because we've gotten to the point where all 6 kids are eating food now. Like, and the older girls eat a good quantity of food because they're bigger. There were no leftovers. Like, I make it in a big pot. I make a lot, and it's always been, he loves it because he has it for dinner and then he has it for lunch like the next 2 days. But
very true.
There were 0 leftovers today. He didn't even get a second bowl. Poor man. So got to start doubling that recipe. So
yeah, it's one of my favorites for sure.
It's a really easy one. What else you got for today? That's my planting right now. I'll probably do carrots and tires too, maybe, unless I put them in my raised bed. The tires are nice though, because you just, when you're done, you just flip the tire, and then I tell the little kids, like Isla, go get the carrots, and they think it's fun and it's not hard work for them because they fall right apart.
Pete says carrots and beets are good companions. We've planted with cabbage. And Arkansas Prepper says cabbage and turnip greens work well together.
Do you eat turnip greens? Have you ever eaten turnip greens? I don't
know if I have or not.
He doesn't like cooked spinach unless it's baked in something. Like, he doesn't like collard greens or spinach just on the side, really.
Yeah,
I love it with some salt and some bacon grease. But he just calls it wilty lettuce, so. You're not a southern boy in that regard.
It's not my favorite.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure that I've had turnip greens before. I just can't remember.
I do. We could do beets. I haven't done beets in several years, but I do like a good pickled beet. I think I might be the only one, but that's okay. I can make them just for me. So.
Yeah, you did that like one of the first years we moved here.
We grew some pretty decent sized ones. That was pretty easy. So Sam's going to the store tomorrow because we have to, what are you fixing? You're working on the bathroom?
Yeah, we're gonna put a new tub in the bathroom. We ordered it though, so it's not gonna come for another week or so. But we're gonna get some new flooring. I found the part of the bathroom where the tub is, it's basically just a 4x8 section. And I found at Home Depot and Lowe's, they sell remnant vinyl sheet flooring for $20. It's a 6x9 section. And so we can, I'll have to get some glue and such as well. But that's pretty cheap to put some flooring in on a bathroom, $20. So I'm going to go see what I can find tomorrow for that.
I'm kind of excited because I don't even know. Do we have a video of like way back when we first moved here, the bathroom, there was a big hole in the bathroom. Like you could sit on the nasty, gross old toilet they left here and look out to the backyard through the wall. And so, and the floor was rotting, and so he put in new joists and a new floor, but when we did it all, the tub that they had left had a lot of problems, so we ended up just getting rid of it, and we didn't have money at that time to get a new tub and like everything, so he made a tub out of a galvanized laundry, like the big metal laundry, what do you call them, buckets, like people used to wash laundry in. He just added a drain, and we've been using that as like the shower, base of the shower and the tub, we expected it to last like a year, right? And it's been there like 5 years. And now it's starting to like fall apart. So we're like, well, we need to replace it now. So we're going to actually have like a real tub in the bathroom, which will be great. Because the kids still, like the little ones, they all want to take a bath at the same time. But we have this tiny little tub. And so they're all in there with their like knees up to their ears because there's not room for 3 of them in the tub. So now they'll have a real tub to splash in.
Let's see. Pete says turnips too. Mrs. Peach says roasted beets are delicious. Pete said carrots, beets, potatoes are staples in the garden for sure. Is it Heidi? Is that who Annoying Fan is? I can't remember.
Yeah, Heidi. Yeah.
Nice. I use vinyl remnants for the bottom of a chicken coop. You found a great price. Oh, that's cool. That's a good idea. I like that. Julie Weber says we planted different kinds, and I can't remember if they're soft or not. I did canned potatoes, but I can't remember if I used those ones or not.
Well, we'll find out together. We'll keep you up to date. And genius workaround on the bathroom. Yeah, it's nice sometimes when your Band-Aid fix actually becomes a permanent solution. Then you don't have to worry about it for a while.
We're getting. It's gonna be. I don't know. It was hard to find a tub because it needs to be a standalone tub, and a regular standard size is way too big for the small section. But if you want to try and find a smaller tub, it's like twice as much as the regular size.
It's like a special.
So I got like a small regular size, but it's still gonna take up a large portion of the bathroom. That bathroom, it's never been completely finished either. It's like 50% done. Like all the trim work still needs to be done. But anyway, that's gonna be a fun project.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
It'll be good.
Let's see. Trying to think. There's something else I was gonna do. Anyway, let's see. Yes, Heidi, awesome. And Pete says we use vinyl remnants in the duck houses, makes clean out much easier.
Oh, that's a good idea.
To look into that. That's a good idea. I never thought about that.
Debbie's here. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Yep.
Jepco says, I read something somewhere about sacrificial cabbage on a perimeter of the garden to help with bugs.
Ooh.
I know people do that with squash. You'll have your sacrificial squash plant somewhere to kind of lure them. But what happens, I always wondered this, because you can't tell the bugs, those are for you. Like, what if they pick your good ones instead of your sacrificial
No,
ones?
you put them on the edge of your garden, so like you surround it on the perimeter, and then your good stuff's in the middle. So they get to the edge, and they're like, oh,
we don't have to go any farther.
They won't go.
So,
yeah.
Debbie says lots of work when you buy an older home. It's true.
Mm-hmm. And Heidi says, please don't forget to like.
Yeah,
yes,
thank you. That does help.
That.
That's all. The garden, so the raised beds are basically done. So we start painting those. That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And
you worked super hard on those.
I did.
You did a really good job.
I'm glad we made it.
Putting them together and filling them up was a monumental task.
Yeah, the girls were big help and created quite a YouTube controversy in the comment section, paying them $5 to fill the beds. But they worked hard, so, and they earned their money.
Yeah.
And so.
Prep for Eternity is here. Hello. And Debbie says, oh, no, you already read that. Lots of work when you buy an older home. Pete says, I found an old clawfoot tub at a salvage yard.
Yeah.
It was missing 2 feet, so we just built a box around it. Such a great tub. I actually fit in it. Nice. That's a good idea to build a box around it. I like that. Kelly says, everyone hit the thumbs up. And Debbie says, how's school for Sam? Good luck. Thank you. I'm on break right now, Debbie. I get a week break. And then I start my next, it'll be an 8-week term. And after that, I get a month off before my practicum. So we're like really in the home stretch here.
So here's an interesting story.
It'll be fun.
I guess this is an FYI. So we used to have a very old clawfoot tub, which came with the house, which was gross, and we got rid of. But I learned that the really old clawfoot tubs they're lead based, and so for adults it's not a big deal because we don't drink the bath water, right? But if you have kids, you have to be really careful because if there's any chips in the tub, it could be leaching lead into the water, and then kids put everything in their mouth. And so there's actually cases of kids getting lead poisoning from taking baths every night in old tubs.
I think if you refinished it,
yeah, you have to make sure it's sealed really well.
Yeah, you can paint it or put new enamel, I guess it is, on it. That would work, but I wouldn't have ever thought about that.
Yeah.
The tub we're getting is
fiberglass,
so it should be. Yeah.
Yeah, have to re-enamel it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, re-enamel it to make it safe.
Yeah, as long as it's got that nice shiny surface, it's not all chipped up, it's fine. But a lot of people don't know that because the chips don't affect its ability to hold water, so you might not think twice about it.
Yeah, it might start rusting, but yeah, I wouldn't have thought about that either.
The only thing I'm worried about the new tub, I think it's going to be hard for Annie to get in and out of.
It will be, yeah.
But we don't really have, the space is so weird, we don't really have a good solution for that right now. So
the solution, at this point in time, the solution would take a while to complete. The solution is to basically tile everything and create a nice walk-in shower. But I am so slow at projects, and I know that
he's only got a week, so we got to get it done.
I know I would have to redo things and such, and so we needed something that's a little bit more like plug and play. Like we just hook it up and go.
And she's only 6 now, so it's probably going to be 4 or 5 years before it's really an issue for her, where she just does not want us having to help her in and out of the shower, and then we can cross that bridge when we get there.
So this is kind of buying us time for now, kind of a thing, in some regards.
Yeah.
It'll be nice.
It'll be nice. Yeah. Anything else on your agenda for this week? I mean, the bathroom's kind of a big project.
Yeah, I hope, let's see. Arkansas Purpose says, I bought a new cast iron tub for my tiny house, and it took 4 men to move it in the house.
Well, how many people were here when we had to move it?
We've had 3, but we have moved it with just 2 before, which is crazy. Like, you just kind of like move it a few inches at a time. It feels like they're so heavy. My only thing that I might want to do, because I did this last term, is if I can get my school books in time to try and read ahead a little bit. You wouldn't think that it helps, but just that first week, kind of taking the edge off and getting some of the material read beforehand, it helps so much.
To feel like you're on top of it and not behind.
Yeah, because a lot of times we get into class and they say, okay, you need to read these 3 chapters tonight, and we're going to have a quiz on them in the morning. And it's going to be 150 pages of medical, pages this big, print this tiny, and it's literally impossible to read it all in a night because you don't get home till 6 o'clock or so. And so trying to get ahead on that, it just makes that first week so much less stressful. But that's probably, other than that, I don't know if there's anything.
That's weird to think that you'll be done taking classes in
8 weeks.
2 months, in 8 weeks.
It'll go quick, super fast. Pete says, yes, cast iron tubs are super heavy. And our bathroom, because they borrowed from a lot of different places to make the bathroom, because in the original house, you had an outhouse. There was no bathroom in here. So they stole space from the hallway, the kitchen, and under the stairwell to make the bathroom. So the door, we could probably put in a regular door, but it would take some construction work. But the bathroom door is tiny and it's slanted, and so the tub, fitting the old cast iron tub in and out of the bathroom, it was like Tetris, like trying to swing it just in. You had just enough space to get it in. It's kind of funny. Our only coal stove was heavier, 600 pounds. Wow. You almost need some kind of like a lift or something to get it in and out. That's crazy.
How heavy was the wood stove you brought in? Because you guys got
it's not 600 pounds. I'd say it's at least, it's a smaller wood stove, but I'd say at least a couple 100 pounds. The video we have of me and my brother Paul, we call him Poopsie, from a long time ago when we first got this. It had to be one of our first videos.
Yeah, one of our earliest videos is us
you can see us doing the little shuffle trying to get it in. It's hilarious. And the funny thing is, I don't think you can tell from the video, but when we were carrying that thing in, we were laughing at each other the whole time because we're just staring at each other doing the awkward shuffle with this. It was really funny.
We got it in.
In the moment. We did get it in. It's kind of one of those things, you get it in, you get it situated, and then don't touch it.
You're never going to move it.
Because it's so big and heavy.
So Diane is heading out for the night. Thanks for joining us, Diane.
Thanks, Diane.
Thanks for stopping by. So coming up this week, video-wise, let's see, we have another cooking in the canning pantry video, which is fun, always fun. Mm-hmm. We have some more gardening. There's a update on some stuff that's been going on with Annie. So, but I feel like a good variety coming up this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. Pete says you have to do these things when your back is still young and then never do it again. That's right. Yeah. Or you get younger people to come do it. That's...
Poor Pat, being the only boy with all those sisters. We're going to be 75 and always calling him to help lift stuff.
Probably. He's going to have to help everybody move and stuff.
Yeah.
Poor guy. I don't know. Some of the girls are pretty gritty.
That's true. The problem is, I feel like our grittiest girls are our smallest children.
That's true.
Are really shorties. So
they are. They're teeny tiny.
So.
But they're tough cookies. Sometimes that's all it takes, though.
Just determination.
Yeah, determination and being tough. Heidi says, "LOL, amen."
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that stuff. I know it's funny because my, like I have, the two brothers, and so we get asked when we're at my parents' house every so often
to move stuff.
To help move things, yeah, when we're there. And I've got 4 sisters. I'm the oldest of 7, so I've got 4 sisters, and so whenever their guys are there, like, got enough.
Yeah.
We just got to get them all married.
Yeah, we need to marry all our girls off.
Yeah. We gotta tell them they gotta marry guys that are at least like 6'2".
Somebody wants to marry them, they gotta pass the weight bearing test. All right, you want to marry her, you gotta lift this.
That's right.
So.
Pete says you do have a small moving company at your disposal. That's very true. They are really helpful if it's smaller things.
They are.
Like they go at it.
Mike and Ivy stacked up the wood in the mudroom for us today, and they did a legitimately good job.
Yeah, they're
nice and neat.
They've done enough firewood stacking now that they're pretty competent in moving firewood, and you get all of them doing it. It
goes pretty fast.
It goes pretty fast. It's kind of funny.
So, I think that's all we have for tonight. I'm exhausted because stupid daylight savings time, right?
Yeah, daylight savings time messed us up with Annie's appointment this morning. Debbie says, yes, when you're young you can do it. Then when you're older, it's like you feel it.
Yeah.
And that's when you watch the younger guys do it for you. I get it. I'll be 60 in September. That's okay. You put your time in.
Yeah, you've earned your help. You put your time in lifting heavy things.
Yep.
Pete says, stick with one-time plan. No more changes, yeah.
That's right. Get it where you need it and leave
it.
All right.
All right. We should be live next week. I don't see any reason right now that we can't be, so we'll be back. Yeah. Maybe we'll play another game next week. We haven't done a game for a little bit.
The games are fun. I enjoy those.
Maybe we'll. I'll figure out what game we want to play, and I'll put up a post, and you guys can post questions and stuff that we can embarrass Sam with. Because I always like surprising Sam, so he doesn't know what's coming at him.
Great.
He just shows up.
That sounds awesome.
So, thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll catch you next time.
Yep. Everybody have a good week. Take